excuse the way I look, y'all. I'm looking really greasy, really just a mess. I just got done cleaning, y'all. It's like 12 o'clock in the morning or 12 o'clock at night. It's really late. Honestly, what time is it? It's 12:10. It's like really late. But I rolled over in a bed at 2:55 p.m. this afternoon. And I also took a nap like earlier this evening. So I'm really not sleepy, to be honest. But y'all, I have been just thinking so much, reflecting so much on these past 2 years of my life. Thinking so much, like I said, just really trying to get my life together, because I feel like as a human being, if you want to move forward, if you want to progress in life, then you have to have a plan. You cannot expect to succeed without no self-discipline and without no vision, without any vision. And so for me, I'm a very introspective person. Like, I try to analyze every little action, and it's honestly worked to my detriment in many ways, but honestly also I feel like it has also enabled me to become, you know, an insightful individual. It has also enabled me to just become more knowledgeable of myself and also others, and just kind of like our human nature and things like that. And one of the things that I feel like God has been really pushing and hammering into me like these past 2 years is my self-worth, my self-esteem, how I see myself, right? So now that I'm coming into this place where honestly I'm starting to see the good characteristics that I possess, although it's been challenged a few times, I'm trying to develop a healthy relationship with myself. I see myself as beautiful, as brilliant, as competent, as kind, possessing all of these great things that everyone else sees in me that I cannot seem to see in myself. I really, for so many years, I've realized I've had such an unhealthy relationship with how I view myself, hence the reason why I allowed certain things to be said about me, about myself, from myself. Like, I would wake up every day and literally cry as I looked in the mirror because I hated the way I looked. And I've shared all this stuff before a little bit. You know, I'm just now becoming more open about it because, child, I would just prefer to just keep, you know, some things to myself. But I'm realizing that in me expressing more of myself and more of my journey with folks, people have really seemed to be encouraged by that, and like that encourages me to become more open with y'all, because nobody's perfect, honestly. Like, nobody has it all together. But with that now, you know, God's showing me like you need to work on your self-esteem, and he showed me that through dreams. I had dreams that symbolized low self-esteem, and I was like, oh, okay, maybe I should work on myself. Maybe I should get a healthy relationship with myself, because all of the self-hate and all of the negative things that I said about myself and believed about myself, it was really starting to affect me in a very horrible way. And so from there, even people will confirm it. People will be like, oh, you don't see yourself like how we see you. And people will always say these amazing things about me. And I was never that kind of person who was like, oh my God, stop. Like, stop. But I would always be like, oh, thanks. I would be like, oh my God, you're so nice. And people would be like, stop saying that I'm so nice for telling you the truth. And I would be like, oh, but I thought you were being nice because like you're being nice. And they're like, no, I'm not being nice. I'm just being real. And it's just like, that's another way that we undermine the things that people say about us. Like, just say thank you and accept that. You know what I mean? So analyzing how my self-esteem has allowed me to open the door to things that I shouldn't have ever opened the door to. Of course, everything is so connected and complicated. You know, I can't say that my self-esteem is responsible for every bad decision I've made, every irresponsible decision I've made, but I would say that my self-esteem and not holding myself to such a standard allowed me to become more vulnerable to things that I shouldn't have been more vulnerable to, if that makes sense. And that's not the only thing, like I said, but that's just one of the things. Sitting here tonight, remembered something that was on my mind, just a really quick thought that I had, but it's just like, your self-esteem and your measure of self-love has everything to do with the decisions that you make. Looking at the people that I have entertained, right, bro? If I woke up every morning and I remembered how awesome and amazing I am, and I remembered how subpar they were, I would not be entertaining folks. And not even in every case people are horrible. Like, there's some people you deal with who are disrespectful, inconsistent, and that's just a no-brainer that you should not deal with them, because you're not stepping how I want you to step. But even for those folks that you just know are not your people and you still entertain that, self-love is definitely connected in that. Because if you had a higher level of self-love and self-respect, you would not find yourself settling in any situation, realizing there are so many sleepless nights, so many, days of me crying, me feeling hurt, so much heartache that I could have literally bypassed if I would not have given clowns my time of day. Think about that. Like, I'm sure all of us can literally sit here and think about folks that we should have been cut off, folks that we should have been left in the past. But no, we settled in that thing. What was the byproduct of that interaction? Heartache and pain. You got pregnant with twins, heartache and pain. It's like a waste of time. And you got to realize that not everybody values time the way that you should. Some people don't mind wasting time and emotions. While you up at night, while I'm up at night crying and overthinking, and I don't have an appetite, I'm losing weight over folks who act like they couldn't care less if I lived or died. I'm crying and I'm losing my appetite over situations that I shouldn't have even gotten this far. So then it's like, okay, Taja, you don't love yourself enough. You don't respect yourself enough, right? And it's like a lot of people in my life will look at me and be like, oh, Taja, like, you have it all together. Like, you're so strong. You're so strong. Baby, I need to go under reconstruction because I'm not together enough. Like, yes, I'm very strong. Yes, I do carry myself a certain way. But deep down, there are definitely some things that I've allowed into my time and into my space that I should have never allowed into my time and space. So guess what? Moving forward, who do I need to confront? Not the people who hurt me. Not the people who have scarred me. I have to confront me. I have to confront me and say, okay, first of all, I forgive you. And I feel like we don't talk about this enough. We don't talk about forgiving ourselves enough. But also realizing that it's not entirely our fault, right? But we have to confront ourselves and be like, I forgive you. I had to look at myself in the mirror and be like, Taja, I forgive you. I forgive myself for putting me in that situation. I forgive myself for not looking at the red flags and seeing that as an invitation to run the opposite way. I forgive myself for putting someone else's feelings over mine. I forgive you for choosing other people over me. I forgive you. It's like really crazy when you think about it. Like forgiving yourself and taking the time to actually look yourself in the mirror and being like, bro, I forgive you. Like, because honestly, from this moment forward, I'm trying not to get emotional. Y'all have seen me cry enough. From this moment forward, I have to move like I'm my best friend. I have to move like I am looking out for me. I don't think I've ever made enough decisions in my life like that. I have to move forward like literally there is a separate entity from myself that I'm looking out for. And that separate entity is me. I gotta move like that. Before I make a decision, Taja, how do you feel about this? Ooh, before we open this door, before we accept this friendship, before we do anything with this person, before we talk to them, before we get to know them, before we answer this call, before we answer this text, Taja, how do you feel about this right now? Because there is such a part of me that is trying to bounce back. And when I look at my ability to bounce back, when I look at these things in my life, this could have all been bypassed, because it's not like I didn't receive several signs in so many of these situations that were like, bro, take a step back. Baby, there's the door. Create an exit yourself. Leave. But in these situations, I didn't think about Taja. I didn't think about the fact that if I would have walked away in those moments, right, that my future self would have thanked me. I didn't think about that. Anybody out there who's like me, who's on this journey of trying to heal and bounce back, and not trying to bounce back for the next hurt, but you really want to bounce back and be healthy, you want to bounce back and become a better you, start with forgiving yourself. And don't think that you're going to wake up tomorrow and feel a whole lot better. These past few years of my life have been so messy, bro. I don't even know where to start. And some people will look at it and be like, Taj, it's not even that horrible. But it feels horrible. It feels horrible. Like, I'm not even going to sit here and lie. I'm not even going to put on a facade. It feels horrible. But I'm starting with forgiving myself, right? And part of forgiveness is making it right, making amends with myself. So that means that if it does not bring me joy, peace, happiness, a sense of security, right? Something that adds to my destiny and adds to my greatness, then what? That means we're cutting it off, right? That means we're done. We're done. We're done. You're done. That means we're done. So even going forward in this season, because I realize that sometimes it is so easy to be like, oh, I'm becoming my best self, bro. That means I'm cutting. Bro, I'm cut. I'm Cutco around here. I'm cut it. I'm cutting everything off. Like, I'm cut. And it's so easy to say that one day and then give it a day or two and we back in those same unhealthy situations. It's so easy. Because it's like our brain gets used to that. It gets used to that dysfunction. And it's like part of our soul craves that dysfunction. But we have to commit ourselves to being like, ooh. We have to commit ourselves to saying, okay, this person showed me who they were the first time. I gotta believe them and cut. Okay, so I may not cut them completely out of my life, but that means that there needs to be some very strict boundary that needs to be put in place so I don't end up feeling the way I'm feeling. Because I don't deserve this. I don't deserve this. So that means that I need to pray. Because guess what? I tried doing I tried doing life by myself, right? It wasn't like I completely just looked up to God and was like, bro, I don't need you. But it was definitely that time where it was like, I think I'm good without praying today. And it just became a habit. Like, my relationship with God plummeted. That was horrible. I ended up in a horrible situation. So that means I need to welcome him back into my life. Because to be honest, he never left. I left him. So that means that in this moment, I'm asking God, Lord, give me the courage to walk away. Give me the courage to stay away. Because it's so easy to say today, I'm done. But yet still go back to that thing, to that place, to that person tomorrow. So help me, Lord, in this moment to maintain this level of disdain, this level of disgust. Not out of bitterness, but out of sheer confidence, out of self-love, out of understanding that I deserve better than this. Help me to make peace with this decision and help me to have the courage to stick with it. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen. So go forth. Start forgiving yourself and make better decisions. You cannot take back what happened. Forgive yourself and move on. Because that's what you deserve. Bye, y'all.